Alright there guys, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be covering a show I haven't actually looked at in 6.5 years. Last week we covered Lucky Star, which we hadn't covered which we last covered 7.5 years ago. Yeah, the last time I talked about this show was January 1st, 2019. And today we're going to be talking about Clannad, but not specifically looking at the show itself. In this video we're going to be looking at a character who I would describe as the show's arguably most tragic character, which is Fuko Ibuki. And not only that, but I wrote down notes for this. And this video is going to be about how Clannad kind of ruined Fuko Ibuki and they're the show's most tragic character. You could argue, I guess, Nagisa is the show's most tragic character, but I think it's Fuko. So without further ado, let's get into it. So Fuko is introduced very early on in Clannad. Oh, and if I'm talking about regular Clannad, I'll just say Clannad, and if I'm talking about After Story, I'll specifically say After Story. And both shows are phenomenal, and you should watch them if you haven't. Highly recommend them. But this is the one thing about them that I don't like. So Fuko is introduced early on in the series, carving some wooden starfish in a classroom, and then rumours start flying around the school that there's this girl who is in a coma in hospital after an accident she had, and Tomoya, who originally found Fuko, hears these rumours and starts putting two and two together. Could this girl be some sort of like ghost of the girl in the hospital? And she's the sister of the school's former art teacher, Miss Fuko Ibuki, who is going to be getting married to a guy called Yoshino very soon. And Fuko starts giving out these starfish carvings as an invitation to Miss Ibuki's wedding. She first gives them out to the main characters and then starts giving them out to everyone. And as time progresses, and Fuko and Tomoya and Nagisa actually go and visit Miss Ibuki and ask her about her sister, that she's in a coma in the hospital, which pretty much confirms what Tomoya and Nagisa already thought. So they ask Miss Ibuki to come to the Founders Festival at the school, and she does, and she says how happy she is to see you two, referring to Tomoya and Nagisa, but Fuko is stood directly in between the two of them, and Miss Ibuki can't see her. Only certain people can see Fuko, and others can't. And despite the fact Fuko is the same age as Tomoya, she looks like a child and acts like one as well. It's like Fuko's backstory is so like tragic and heartbreaking that the further we get into this, you'll understand what I mean by Clannad ruined its most tragic character. So after the Founders Festival, Tomoya and Nagisa, especially Nagisa, is very upset at the fact that Mitsubuki could not see Fuko. But after that, other people start forgetting Fuko as well. First, it's the people that didn't really know her at all that start forgetting her. But then it's people like Kotomi, Kyo, Ro, Tsunahara, more people closer to the main characters. Even they start forgetting her. Even Nagisa's parents, Akio and Sanai, start forgetting her. And for the time being, she was living with them. Even they start forgetting her. Even Tomoya and Nagisa, who have spent more time with Fuko than anyone else, even they begin to start forgetting her. But then, on the day of Mitsubuki's wedding, which was happening at the school, because that's actually what she wanted, and they managed to swing a few things to make it happen. And every single student is there, attending it. Even though they'd all forgotten about Fuko, they suddenly remembered the starfish carving they were given by her, and why, and what it was for. And they all turn up at Mitsubuki's wedding. And right at the end of it, Fuko literally hands Mitsubuki one of her starfish carvings. I think it's the very, very first one that she ever made. And Mitsubuki actually physically receives the starfish carving. So finally, Fuko's message reached Mitsubuki. Unfortunately, that's where the tragic and heartbreaking part of Fuko's story comes to an end, and that was in the 10th episode of Clannad. There's still another 14 episodes of regular Clannad to go. And unfortunately, for the rest of regular Clannad, Fuko literally just starts appearing randomly as this joke and gag character. Basically, if some people are having an argument or can't work something out, she will randomly just appear and supposedly give off a conclusion. Apart from that, never actually ends up happening. She never comes to a conclusion about anything, and then just runs away. And the thing is, nobody remembers her. After the first 10 episodes of such a heartbreaking and tragic backstory, and now here we are after Mitsubuki's wedding, where Fuko randomly appears as a joke character, and nobody remembers her. And it's the thing is, it's not like she's woken up from her coma. It's still the same version of Fuko from the first 10 episodes. But now, absolutely nobody remembers her, and the show doesn't even treat Fuko like anything tragic or heartbreaking happened to her in the first 10 episodes. It's so odd, and it really lessens the impact of the first 10 episodes, in my opinion, of Fuko's story. But that's all we have for Clannad. Now on to Clannad After Story. There isn't much to talk about here. Mainly because Fuko herself doesn't actually appear in After Story that often. It takes us till episode 10 of After Story, which is about halfway through it, before Fuko even gets mentioned. And I get why, because this After Story, especially the first half, is focused so heavily on the relationship between Tomoya and Nagisa. So I get why Fuko isn't mentioned as much, but she literally does not get mentioned ever until episode 10. Funnily enough, by her sister, Mitsubuki, or I guess in this case she's now Mrs. Yoshino. And she's not even mentioned as Fuko. She's literally just mentioned as Mitsubuki's sister. That's it. But as we get further into After Story, Fuko actually does wake up from her coma, and she becomes friends with Tomoya's daughter, Ushio, after Nagisa had died moments after giving birth to Ushio, which in itself was the heartbreaking moment of After Story, or I guess Ushio's death in one of the final episodes, you could argue as well. Oh no, spoilers. Well, you should have watched it. It came out in 2007 and 8. It's nearly 20 years old. But yeah, I will give After Story some credit, as Fuko becomes a very good friend to Ushio before Ushio dies. And it's actually Fuko now. It's not a ghost like in regular Clannad. This time Fuko is actually awake. It's actually her, and she acts a little bit different. She acts slightly more mature as the actual version of her than the ghost version of her did. But she's ever just as strange as she was in regular Clannad. But yeah, that is all I have for you. That, in my opinion, is how Clannad ruined its most tragic character. Gave us the first 10 episodes of the regular first series, building up to Miss Ibuki's wedding and Fuko trying to get as many people to come as possible, learning what heartbreaking backstory she has, only for her to become a complete gag character for the rest of the regular series, where she just randomly appears here and there to solve an argument and literally never does actually solve anything. Then she basically disappears from After Story for nearly half of it, without being mentioned once until halfway through, and then it takes like another 6-7 episodes of After Story before she even appears again. But yeah, that is going to do it for this video. If you guys have enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and until we meet again, see you in the next one.